So anyway, Pat Garcia, I'm with the Firearms Legal Protection, FLP. We're legal defense for self-defense. I had left you guys with an application that's just there. So just hang on to that. We're going to talk about some other things, and we'll begin now. So what to expect if you use self-defense and injure someone. So everyone thinks, okay, what am I going to do if there's a home invasion? What if someone attacks me at Walmart and I have to push them down or hit them with a cart or run them over? What am I going to do? What's going to happen? What am I going to expect? So here's what's going to happen. If someone's injured, the police are coming. Why are the police coming? They come to investigate. So when they come, be prepared for the police to come. They are there to investigate and find out what happened. They're not there to press charges. That doesn't happen. So there's no need to try and get out of something that's not there or to talk your way through a problem that hasn't developed yet. So do I call 911 before the police get there? Probably. So I'll get to what you should say on the 911 in the later part of this, but the 911 call is very important, and it's a recorded call, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you want to call 911, call 911, stick to facts, that's it. Don't tell the story. So questioning. Now you get the police coming in, and they're going to ask you what happened. So what do you want to tell the police? Okay. Okay. Are you in a position to give a full statement? What if you're shook up a little bit?
Here's my lawyer's number.
Okay. That would be a good time to call an attorney and hand the phone to the police officer. He's going to invoke a ton of rights for you. He's not going to ask you any more questions. So that's good, okay? So the police are coming. Be prepared for it. Don't be hiding from them. Don't be in a position where you're going to look like you're not the victim. So the police arrive. Their job is to make sure everyone's safe, including themselves. So they may take you to the side or make you drop your gun or go onto the ground, whatever it happens to be, just to get everyone safe and figure things out because they don't know what happened yet. They're going to investigate, gather information, and you can cooperate 100% without giving yourself up.
Thanks.
Will you tuck my shirt in too? I'm kidding. So the police are there. Will you be arrested? Who knows? It just depends on what's happening. So let's say you are arrested. Take you, push you in the back of the car, take you downtown, take you to jail, and book you. How much time can they keep you there? You guys know? 48 hours without charging you. What if it's on Thursday night? Huh? You're screwed, right? So don't protect yourself on Thursday night because you're going to be in there. But they can keep you there. Saturdays and Sundays don't count, so yeah. So that can happen. So you can be in there. They may give you a bail amount if they put you into jail. It'll be assigned, and then you'll have to pay that to get out. So let's say it's a large amount for some. Well, let's just use a smaller amount. Let's say it's $100,000. If you have $100,000, someone's going to have to bring it down there in cash, and then you'll get out of jail. The reason you're getting out of jail for the bail is just to make sure you go through our court system. You have to go through the entire system until there's a decision made at the end, and that could be a year or two. So you get that bail. If you don't have the $100,000, and some of you may not have $100,000 lying around where you just get that right away, you'll have to use a bail bondsman. The bail bondsman is going to charge you 10%. That 10% is non-refundable. That's a fee. So you're in, let's say it's $100,000, you're in $10,000 for protecting yourself so far.
I thought it was refundable if you showed up. But
Not for the bail bondsman. Use the bail bondsman. Yeah. If you just pay the whole amount, And then you show up and go through the whole thing. At the end, you'll get all of it back. It's like a 0% loan, and everybody loves that. So then you get out of jail. Then you find an attorney, and you get an attorney. Usually they're the ones that are going to help you. So you can just call your wife or whatever, and they can get you out of jail and post the bail. But a lot of times you're going to need an attorney. If you don't have an attorney and they press charges, they will assign one to you. Now, assigned attorneys are the most vetted attorneys out there, the best ones, the most expensive. They're the free ones that they're trying to get their feet wet. That's what you're getting. So you get some representation, and that's probably not the best way to go. So you want to probably have a vetted attorney on Second Amendment. So then you go through and you have some court proceedings. So you have to show up to court, and they give you a date, and then you tell them not guilty, whatever charge it is, or guilty, or no contest, whatever it happens to be. A good attorney is going to spend about 40 to 80 hours working on that just to say those words. Because they have to get everything involved. That what happened, they want to get their story. They don't want to get it later, they want to get it then. So they're going to work on that. Your public defender, or the one who's assigned, is probably just going to go with you and make that plea. They're not going to have any background. As soon as you go there and you tell them, okay, not guilty, first thing they're going to do is give you another court date. Wow, I just thought I was in here. Can't do two things at once? Not in our court system. It's a very slow system. There'll be many more court appearances. There's all kinds of finagling that goes on. I'm dropping stuff left and right here.
The guy at 9:30 said, be prepared to spend $25,000 to $30,000 for that.
Exactly. That's true. So then you go many more court appearances. You can go in there and get a continuance. What's that? I need more time. Now your next appointment may be a month or two out. Every month or so, you're going to get billed by an attorney, and it's going to be anywhere from $400 to $600 or even more dollars per hour. If you have an attorney that costs $400 an hour and you make a phone call to them, they're going to bill you for 20 minutes or a third of an hour. Even if they just said, hey, how's it going? Everything okay? There's some charging on. So that's how they make their money. And you do want a good attorney on your side. Then you're possibly going to go to a trial and a jury selection. So let's talk about jury selection. How many of you have been in jury? A lot of you? Okay. So you're either selected or you're deselected, right? Why are people deselected?
Yes, for prior information.
Okay. So if it's about medical malpractice and I'm a doctor, do you think I'm on the jury? Why not? Knowledge. Knowledge. I have opinions about all that stuff. I have knowledge. I have more knowledge than the attorneys do about this, what's happening. I don't know specifically, but I know generally. So they don't want me on there. They're trying to get a vanilla jury so that they can't be swayed in court, and because the attorneys want to do that. And that's what happens. So you talk about a jury of your peers, that's not really happening. I would say in this room here, people with common goals, lifestyles, this is probably a jury of your peers.
Would being a gun owner get you deselected?
Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the case. They may ask you other questions. So then you get 12 people, and then they make a decision down the road. All of them have to say yes or no, or all of them have to say yes to be convicted. Just one takes to get away from it. So you got trial and then outcomes that happen. So you go through it. You may do a plea deal somewhere in there. Is a plea deal a cop-out? Can be. If my first name is Hunter, maybe. Okay. But I don't know anyone like that. But it can also be a win. It can get your life back. You don't have to go back into the court system, and you can move on. Because most people, when they talk about the court system, they say, okay, it was fast, it was inexpensive, and it was unemotional, right? Okay, no one says that. Because it takes forever. Something that you thought was going to be a month takes a year to 2 years. I talked to a lady, she was in this is just our system, this isn't self-defense, but she was in a divorce proceeding, 5 years. And I'm thinking, geez, 5 years. Don't they know that there was only one winner in that? The attorneys win. It keeps going on and on and on.
Depends on the nature of the confrontation and arrest.
Yeah. So anyway, with that 5-year one, she finally got the dog, and then everything was settled. So then you go to the outcome. They find you, charges are dropped, whatever it happens to be. You get a decision. You're done with all of your court system, and then the bail gets put back into the system. If you paid it 100%, you get it all back on your 0% loan. If you paid the bail bondsman, you just lost 10% of whatever that as a cost.
Did you do plaintiff? Where you put defendant?
Probably. I can really see. So by this time, you may have spent over $200,000 on attorneys, and then you're all good. They said, okay, everything was fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. And you go, wait, can I have that money back? That's not how it works. So that's the criminal side. Then you can go through this whole process one more time on the civil side. The same selection, the same everything, all that. To make you come, you may have to post bail again. Who knows?
Wait, post bail in the civil piece?
If you were running or something, no, they would charge you, but sometimes they don't want you to leave the state and all that stuff and restrictions. So if you don't have an attorney and you do have a self-defense situation, so how many of you have an attorney on retainer right now? You do.
On retainer?
Yeah.
Not a guy, no.
No, but you will. But you have one. If you have a program. Okay. So if you have one, you have someone to call, right? Someone to help you out, someone to give you some advice, someone not to tell you to say stuff. So if you don't have one, you're going to use hope as your strategy if you do any self-defense situation. You hope nothing happens. You hope no one gets hurt. You hope they don't sue you. So the U.S. legal system is expensive, and it's not always fair. You can get dragged into our court system that's there to protect you, and it can cost you everything when you do everything right. So I'm here to make sure with our program that you could have something today if you wish. So we've been in business, FLP has been in business for over 10, 11 years now. We're part of Risk Theory as our main company. We have 16 different companies underneath it. We have over $1 billion in premiums that we collect each year. FLP, or Firearms Legal Protection, is the one protecting your Second Amendment rights. There's 3 phases of self-defense. There's the physical fight. You got to get through that. Now, how many of you have CCWs in here? So you have to get through that. Going through the CCW class, you learn all the rules of what you can and can't do, when you can and can't do it. And that's important, because everyone thinks someone breaks into your house, you can just shoot them and kill them. Now, if you lived in Utah, that's probably true, but not in California. So there's a bunch of rules, and it's good to go through these classes. With SB2, they just extended the time for education by 2 times. So it went from 4 hours for the a renewal to 8, and for the initial, it went from 8 to 16. I think most people are okay with that. There's other things in there that they don't like. So you get through the physical fight, you can have a legal fight. A legal fight is ugly, it lasts a long time, it's emotional and financially draining. You just gotta be careful. What we offer to help you out is 24/7 attorney for any self-defense situation. You would call anything that happened. This number on here, an attorney would answer. We have 17 attorneys in California, all the way from Wairika down here to San Diego. And when you do that, make sure you're alone. That way you can have your attorney-client privilege invoked. You don't want to be with a group of people that hear the whole conversation. They will give you instructions. They will tell you to be alone. They'll say, the police come and what happened, and you give them the story then. You can give the story to the attorney. With our program, it's unlimited attorney, no caps, no deductible, no limits. We'll take you in criminal and civil, and we cover you for any legal weapon. So you don't have to have a CCW, any self-defense. So it can be a knife, it could be your car, a baseball bat, tire iron, bar stool. I throw that in there in case you guys were out on Friday nights or something. We also protect you with red flag laws. Are you guys familiar with those? Okay. I like to say that that's kind of a revenge law because the way it was intended and the way that it's executed are two different sides of the coin.
Thanks to Gavin Newsom.
And who is that guy? God, it just made me sick. So I told you I was going to talk about the 911 call. So 911 call, why do you call 911? Get help, right? What do you say to the 911 operator when they say 911, what's your emergency?
As little as possible.
Okay. What are you required to say by law? Nothing. You're making the call. You're not required to tell them anything. But if you want help, you do have to say, you have to tell them some information. So I recommend, because it is a recorded line and not a recorded call, as soon as you hit send, it's going to be recording, that you stick to facts. You want to give a location because they want to send some help. I need a police and an ambulance, if that's the case. This is my name. You can give them that up. This is what I look like. You can embellish that a little bit. And I know you people will. But what you have on is going to be important, so when the police show up, they want to know who the good guy is. And don't have the firearm in your hand, if that's the case. Stick to the facts. Don't have any obligations to them at all. Now, the 911 operator is going to ask you a bunch of questions. What happened? So, I don't know how many of you have ever been late. And if you're married and you've been late an hour and you didn't give a phone call and you just showed up, that's the 911 operator starting in all the questions. Okay? Where you been? How come you went there? Did you spend any money? Did you get that stuff I told you about? I mean, as soon as you answer a question, the 911 operator is going to ask you another question. Now, why are they doing that? Who are they trying to protect? First responders, yeah. They don't want them getting into a trap. So my 911 call is going to be, this is Pat Garcia. I was in a self-defense incident. Bang, 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 incident, okay? I need the police and an ambulance. This is my address. I have a black shirt on with khaki pants and a bunch of strings hanging off of me that look like cords. I have dark hair and about 5'9", 190. Click. They're going to call me back. They want me to stay on the line. They want to record everything. Now, if I'm safe, I don't want that. If I'm unsafe, I'm going to stay on the line because I may need the help to go to a different address or go somewhere else. So be careful of the 911 call. It can be detrimental. I go to a lot of attorney talks, and one of them, this guy named Ted, he had 2,000 cases. Of the 2,000 cases, 20 of them he convicted based on one piece of evidence alone, and that was the 911 call. People will blow it. They'll tell them the whole story. They'll get everything wrong. If I'm a police officer involved in a shooting, I'm going to get up to 5 days to make my statement. Why not give yourself that same time? That way I'm going to have the names, the addresses, the driver's license, their hair color, height, everything. I'm going to have everything on that person. I'm going to know how far we were apart, what time they came in, what time everything ended, what time I made a phone call, what time the police showed up. I'm going to have a great statement. It's going to be one statement. It's not going to be one I gave to the officer when he first showed up. Then they take me downtown, and another one or an investigator. And then the third one's going to be the one the attorney and we figure out what the truth was, and they're all going to not match. And then they're going to bring in the 911 statement. And you're like, well, I didn't make a statement to the 911 operator. On a recorded call, you did. You definitely did. So be careful of that. Red flag laws, we kind of went through that real quick. The purpose of it is to save lives and to help people. Isn't that nice? So if you have someone who's unsafe that has a firearm and they could hurt themselves or maybe someone else, the sheriff can go out there based on a phone call with no proof and possibly confiscate the firearm.
Do they need a warrant if you just don't open the door?
You know, if you let them in, no. And actually, they usually don't have a warrant on a red flag laws. They're just going to investigate. So here's what they're doing, the police officers, when they go. First of all, they don't need any proof. So I call it the revenge law. They go in, they ask them, do you have a firearm? If you let them in, and you show them the firearm, they can take it. Because what they want to do is they want to make everyone safe. They don't want to see if you're good yet, or if you have agreements on your neighbor or your ex-wife or husband or whatever. They're going to make sure everyone's safe and get the firearms. Then they're going to sort it out later. By that time, you're out. So if someone comes up to your door and says, hey, do you have firearms? And the sheriff or something, you want to get back to this and call this number and say, just give me a second. I'm going to answer all your questions. And then go outside and talk to the police officer and possibly have the attorney talk to them on the line. Because the first thing they're going to say is they have a search warrant. No. But you're going to be a nice guy, and you're probably going to let them in because you've done nothing wrong. They're going to see firearms. They're going to take them. They're going to ask to see them in your safe. If you open them up, oh, my God, they could take them.
So you just say no, you just deny.
I would just call the attorney and say, I don't know, this is some weird questions. Let me just call my attorney real quick and I'll answer all your questions.
Right? Because if they found out eventually, then you're lying to them. So just
Yeah, and I just wouldn't answer the question. I said,
just not even answer.
so we would help you in that case. If you did let them in and they confiscate, we'll help you get them back. So it's a weird situation where there's no proof. They take everything like you have no rights, and then you have to fight to get back the rights that you had in the first place.
You might mention to the group that they charge you to store your weapons too.
No.
Each weapon.
Like impound?
Impound. Like a tow truck impound.
There's all kinds of crazy stuff happening. Bail bonds, we talked about that. So I'm just going to go through that since I talked about that already. We do have a benefit of expungement. Once you're a member with us, if you had an incident, it stays on your record pretty much forever until somebody takes it off, even if there's no conviction. But we have the ability to do that. So nothing that happened, like if you signed up today and then you decided, well, in high school I had this incident, can you get that? No, we can't do that. But we have the benefit of doing that. Everyone got an application on there. There's some pricing on there, and I'm just going to review all this stuff with you really quickly. Of our benefits to being with FLP. First of all, by being at the show, you get the discount. It's about 45% off. If you go online and check out our pricing right now, it's going to be much higher. So we have 3 different programs. First of all, the individual basic, which is California only, unlimited attorney. Unlimited attorney, California. if you get into our court system, 95% of your costs are going to be your attorney costs. So that's what we're protecting, because that's going to have to come out. If you stop paying your attorney, they stop working. You also get the FLP app with us, which is a cool app. I won't show it to you now, but it has all kinds of neat things on it. It gives you coverage of CCWs if you have your Arizona and your California, and you have pretty much most of the states. So that's the individual basic. It's $109 a year. Unlimited attorney, vetted attorney in your pocket when you leave. There's a one-time sign-up fee of $19.95. So that's the California. You can switch these at any time by being in this class with this piece of paper and getting, you can get that price forever because we have price lock. So once you sign up, that's locked in forever. The next one we have is an individual premium. So there's some other costs that can happen in court and in our system. Our individual premium is $239 a year plus $19.95 one-time startup fee. It's about double the other one, but it's very rich. It includes all 50 states, so any legal weapon, all 50 states, no restrictions. You're going to get $250,000 in bail. Our example that we did earlier was $100,000. If you had a $250,000 and you had to go and get a bail bondsman, that's going to be $25,000. That's a lot of money. You're going to get $10,000 in case you need an expert witness. Usually it would be a CCW instructor, a police officer, or something like that. Does maybe even the person that was here earlier, the instructor for self-defense. They go on the stand and they tell them what they do and what's right and what's wrong in a self-defense situation and what they can and can't do. And they do that to educate the jury that shouldn't have a great knowledge of what's going on. You also get $10,000 in private investigations. Attorneys do not do investigations, but private eyes do. That is a lot of money to get information about individual or somebody in their past. That can help your case dramatically. So that's important to have. You're going to get $1,500 in lost wages if you go to trial. Now, we haven't been to trial in 10 years, so we haven't paid it out, not because we're cheapskates. But the attorney answered hotline solves a lot of issues, and it gets things de-escalated immediately. So that helps out a lot. You have $2,500 for mental health or therapy. So I used to say, you talk to a shrink until I had a shrink in one of my classes, and she let me know that it's therapy. So it is now therapy if you need it. $2,500 is about 20 sessions. If you take the new CCW initial class and the renewal class, you're going to have an hour of mental health, which they didn't have before. It's kind of good. So it gives you reasons why things happen, statistics, numbers to call, some help, and all that stuff. So that's all good. Last thing we have is $5,000 in incident cleanup. So if you have blood or something in your car or in your house, you don't want to go and get the shop vac and clean it up. You want to have a professional do that, and we'll do that for you. So it's a pretty rich program. Those are some other things that can happen in the court system and in the self-defense that can cost you money, and that's our premium program. The last one we have is the family premium. That's 2 individual premiums. But if you take $239 times 2, it's not $429. $429 is still a good deal. Additionally, you're going to get kids 17 or under covered. Kids go to school, they play sports, they take martial arts. They may have the ability to hurt somebody. They do hurt another child. The parents get upset. They don't sue the kid, they sue you. So unlimited attorney in that also, and criminal and civil. Once they turn 18, they become the A word. You guys know what that is, right? I get various answers. But usually adult. So here's our value. If you're interested, you could sign up, get the most comprehensive, inexpensive attorney coverage. 95% of all the costs in the court system are going to be attorney, and we're going to cover you on that. You don't have to dip into your wallet. Evacuate your savings, your retirement, your children's educational funds. So don't wait till 3 o'clock in the morning to vet an attorney. We've already done that. 17 vetted in California. We have them all over the in all states, but I talk about the California ones. The $109 a year versus $400 to $600 an hour for an attorney, or the $239 if you're looking at the multi-state. You can switch back and forth also. I put these up here because these are the limits on the individual premium. I am a kind of a chart guy, so I like seeing stuff like that. I don't know if you guys ever go on the internet and they give you a little teaser and they say the 5 best place to retire, and you have to read 10,000 words before you get to those 5 best. I just want to see them charted. That's why I do. So that's all I had for you guys today with our program. I'm going to take some questions. There's a lot of things that can happen out there in self-defense and our program and all that stuff. Most everything that you get into in the court of law is going to depend. Every time you add or subtract a fact, it's going to change. So yes, any questions? Let's start here and then we'll move this way.
How do you determine your differences between SDCGO insurance companies?
Okay. A couple different ways. Price, we're less by quite a bit. Their introductory is $360 a year, and it goes up to $700. They have a crisis line. We have a attorney answered hotline. They have some educational stuff that they do. We do some training too. It's kind of far on there. They do have a liability side on the civil. We don't do that because that's not for sure. And if you get into civil, you get sued and they want $2 million from you, they'll cover that. We don't have that with our program. And there's a couple reasons. It's not for sure. The attorney's for sure. That's going to get you broke. If you get into a situation where you're in the criminal and it's not looking good and you're going to go through the civil, and I'm the attorney, which I'm not an attorney, I'm going to put you in a trust. Now, when it comes to civil liability, who do I want to sue and get money from? Someone who has no money or someone who has lots of money? Now, if I sue someone who has no money, what's going to happen?
Bankruptcy.
You're just going to go through the process. But you're at least going to have your attorney covered all the way through. So that I discount that on that program. They also have something that we don't have and we'll never have, and that's kind of a slick magazine.
Slick website.
Okay. But if you're looking for attorneys answered right away, because if you call them, they're going to get a crisis line, and then they're going to get an attorney to you, but it's not going to be immediate. It could be 10, 15 minutes, and that time could be valuable. So it's important. And then our cost is much, much less.
Your particular attorneys, 17 of them, they're all, it's not like the...
They are attorneys. We pay whatever.
Well, but is this their area? They deal with
yes.
defense.
They're Second Amendment attorneys. We pay them whatever they make. It's not some kind of special deal. You get $100 an hour or something if you take our case. And they have to take the cases. Questions over here? Is the gentleman over here?
Yes. Thank you. Just a couple quick questions. First, is it your own internal insurance company, or is there like a parent company?
Our parent company is Risk Theory.
Risk Theory. Okay.
16 different companies, over $1 billion in premiums
Okay.
that we have.
So
one more.
sorry.
Okay, just one more piece on that so you know.
Yep.
We are set up as insurance in some states and as prepaid legal in others. California's prepaid legal.
So
Now,
no fiduciary.
okay, so when I say that, everyone gets back to that company. That's not a company, it's a style. So the membership with us for legal defense, for self-defense, is stronger than insurance because insurance wants to go ahead and use words that are going to discount you. And I'll just go back to USCCA just because I will. 95% of all criminal charges end up in a plea. If that happens with you with USCCA, what happens? 95% of all criminal charges end up in a plea. If that happens with USCCA, what happens?
Are
They asked for the money back for the attorney's time already, and they do not cover you anymore.
Wait, so if you take a plea with USCCA, you're back on the hook?
Yeah. So you have a 95% chance of maybe not having coverage. And then they won't follow you in civil. Go ahead, your second question.
Yeah, so that actually kind of brings me to my second question. So this is a prepaid legal service, correct? So this is not an insurance company that extends coverage for a certain incident, correct?
We do, for any self-defense, we cover you for unlimited attorney.
Okay. Is there like an adjuster or somebody who decides whether it's a good shoot or a bad shoot? Or is it?
The attorney's going to cover it first, and then
Okay.
we do have a separate company that makes that determination. But we cover pretty much anyone unless they're robbing a bank.
Okay.
Because we just, all you have to do is say I was in fear of my life and you're good.
Okay. And oh, go ahead. Yeah.
The attorney has the duty to you or us?
To you.
Yeah, okay, we got one right here.
Yeah, so do you guys cover Gary, the speaker that was in your retainer as far as an attorney? Gary, the speaker that was here previously.
Is he one of ours?
Yes,
I don't know.
okay.
Could be. They don't give us a list. It's kind of a weird thing. They just don't want a list of people out there.
No, he was with USDCA.
Correct.
Yeah,
He does other,
he may.
Oh, he does, okay.
Yeah,
but I just don't know if he's with you guys or not.
I
that's
don't
my
know. I don't
question.
know that.
And then my second question is my concern with CCWA that they chose not to cover this lady who ended up being convicted after you take a plea deal or anything like that. And can you said something about that earlier, but you kind of voice kind of lowered. I didn't hear the last detail.
Okay, in that case, let's just go through that case. She was found guilty for whatever, I don't even know what the charge was.
Right.
So all the attorney time she owes directly to the attorneys, and they don't follow her into civil,
Right.
and they're done with them.
Correct. So I'm asking you, how does your company compare to them?
In that regard, we cover you entirely. You take the plea deal. If you took a plea deal, if you get criminally and you have a sentence, you have to do the sentence on your own. But then if they sue you in civil, then we'll take you on that too. So we cover both unlimited attorney charges.
Wait, so you'll still cover if there's a conviction?
Yes.
In either case, take a plea deal, go to trial, guilty.
Yeah, because that's it. That's for the jury to figure out.
Oh,
Oh, you did.
The reason is we're not insurance in here. Insurance cannot do that.
how about appeals?
How about
We-
appeals?
In our literature, it says we don't cover appeals, but if there's another trial, we will do the trial. Yes, sir.
No, okay, right
Yeah.
here.
Thank you. I had two questions. Excuse
Two.
me.
Everyone's piling them up here.
Hey, it's quick and easy. Simple one is you call an ambulance. Two ambulances. One for you, one for the victim,
Okay.
right? That's recommended, I presume?
You
Especially,
can do that. Yeah.
you know, my age, I could have a heart attack before, you know, you don't want to be riding in the same rig with the guy that you just, you know, messed with.
And that's fine.
Okay. And then secondly, how do you compare yourselves to Lone Star?
Lone Star.
Lone Star Firearms Protection.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. How long have they been around?
About 2 years, I think.
I can't answer that
Okay.
right now. If you leave me your email, I'll tell you in an email. They must be out of Texas, right? Are they out of Texas? Well, I'm here in Lone Star, so okay. Other questions? No other questions. If you are interested in becoming a member, everyone has one of those. I have clipboards with the applications on them with pens, and you can get a card for me today and get covered today and leave with an attorney in your pocket. If you're on the fence, you can sign up today. You can vet us out for a week. You can call the number, not the emergency number on here, but the bottom number, and call and cancel and get all your money back. After that, it's prorated. So if you call in 6 months and you paid for the year, You'll get 6 months back if you cancel. That works for any insurance product in California. So our competitors, it also works with Geico, Progressive, on auto and all that stuff. So it's the same rules. We follow the same rules, even in prepaid legal, as everyone else does. And that's how we get. It takes longer to get in a prepaid program than it does in an insurance program. And I have my insurance licenses.